I ditched school every day because I hated school. Get stoned and I'd hitchhike and I'd skateboard to all the schools and I'd go in and find girls and guys I thought could be models and I'd give them my little card.
No way.
And I'd say, have your mom or your dad call me. I think you could be a model.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gray Area Podcast. I am your host, Maximilian Decker, where we cover everything gray in career and life. Today, one of my good friends is joining the pod. It's no other than the most iconic photographer in the business, fashion model, scout, manager. He's just a beautiful human being. He is really God's soldier, and it's Jim Jordan. Jim.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you for coming on, JJ. Well, Jim, JJ, I know you as JJ. Yeah. So thank you for coming on the pod.
Thank you, buddy.
It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, Max.
And I felt like people need to know your story because you've changed so many people's lives and you've discovered so many people and you are a handprint in the business and
you're awesome.
And you're favored by God, and I know that.
Thank you, buddy.
Hey, I got you your flowers. You texted me that I needed to get you flowers, so I got you these. And I thought it was different. You know, I don't want to get you roses because that'd be just like, I don't know, like common. So let's go ahead and
should we put them here?
Move it right next to you.
Thank you.
Or if you want to give it to
how do they look?
somebody in your entourage.
Right there.
Is it right there? Is that cool? Let's move it more to you.
Yeah, like they're
more. I don't know. They keep on. They're moving. Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, Jesus.
Let me move them more.
Oh, Jesus, they want it right there.
Yeah,
all
we
right.
rehearsed this.
Awesome.
Yeah, we rehearsed this.
Okay, so also there you go. Your flowers.
Thank
your
you.
Flowers.
Thank you, Bella.
Tell me,
appreciate it.
Photographer. Have you always done it?
So I've been a photographer most of my life. I started off. I started taking pictures probably when I was in the 7th grade.
Wow.
The first time I really was able to find a camera to shoot with.
What was your first camera?
It was my next door neighbor's camera, and he loaned it to me, and I was using his camera. So it was a Nikon.
A Nikon.
It was a Nikon. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
But I never ever thought I'd be a photographer. I was always intimidated by anything technical. I was really challenged with things like that. But my journey started off. I had a friend in junior high school, right, and she got discovered by a man named John Casablanca.
Oh, yeah.
And he was the biggest model scout in the world. He
managed models.
Yeah, elite models. He owned the Elite Model Management. John Casablanca was the owner. And he had Cindy Crawford and Christy Brinkley and all the huge 80s supermodels. And my friend came to school one day saying she got discovered by a man named John Casablanca. And she was really my only friend. And when I was a young kid, I was, picked on and bullied and not celebrated in the way I thought I was, and I was always cutting trees and bonsaiing bushes and cutting the dog's hair and rearranging the furniture. And I was this artistic kid running around not knowing what an artist was. And I had, parents that were scared of that and challenging me and medicating me and taking me to doctors and went along with the beatings and the groundings and all the things to keep me from being who I was and who I was called to be.
Where was this?
I grew up in Calabasas.
Calabasas?
Yeah. My dad owned a bunch of restaurants. My mom was a house mom. She was a teacher. And I was terrible in school. I was just always asking everybody questions. I was curious about life. I was curious about how to beautify everything I saw. And that was kind of my mission. And my mom was not really a fan and wanted me to be the baseball star and the football star like my brother. And I was just kind of taken and putting into these doctor's appointments and taking these medicines. And
what do you think that was? What was it? Why? Was it just because you had so much energy, you had so much life?
I was
like let's suppress this.
So much life and so many questions, and I couldn't shut up, and I was bouncing off the walls and just moving everything in life, just creating, trying to move everything of how I saw it to be. And I was a failure in school and terrible at school. And my mom was a teacher, and all she wanted me to do was get straight A's. And all I was doing is cutting hair and trimming trees. And
For them, that was like unacceptable.
that was crazy. Like, it just, the signs of like, I don't know, it just scared my mom. It scared her, like, oh, my son's not going to do hair. He's not going to touch it.
So what happened? So how old were you when you started? So did you do anything besides photography?
So I got a little business card printed up. My friend got scouted. So I said, this man has the coolest job I've ever heard of my life. Like, who is this guy? So I went and got seventh grade, I got a little business card printed up. She was sent off to Europe, to Milan, this girl. Right. And I went to skateboard and hitchhike. I ditched school every day because I hated school. Wow. And I'd get stoned and I'd hitchhike and I'd skateboard to all the schools, and I'd go in and find girls and guys I thought could be models, and I'd give them my little card.
No way.
And I'd say, have your mom or your dad call me. I think you could be a model. And I started getting these kids calling me. And my next door neighbor, his name was Greg Glassman. He was 5 years older. We used to grow weed in the backyard. His parents were never home. And he was a super smart guy. He was a math tutor. And he was one of my friends that really cared about me and liked me and saw who I really was. And he had a camera in his bedroom, and I'd always seen his camera sitting on his bookshelf. And I said, I'm going to all these schools and I'm finding these models, and you got to do the photography and take their picture. I'm going to do their makeup and their hair, and I'm going to cut their hair, and you're going to take these pictures, and I'm going to bring them to the modeling agencies with their moms. He'd be like, dude, am I going to get laid? Like, this is this is okay.
That's the biggest currency out there is sex, I guess.
Yeah.
The motivator.
So he thought he was going to find a girlfriend.
Right.
And these girls were coming to my house to his house with their moms and dads, and they were like 14 years old.
Wow. And you were how old?
I was in the 7th grade.
You're in the 7th grade.
So I would cut their hair, do their makeup, and I would say, bro, turn her take her picture like from here, there, or shoot this full length, and I'd move the models around.
So you were already you were already shooting the photos.
Yeah, I was kind of art directing and creative directing, and I just had as I get older, I had a vision to see things that the world didn't see, and I didn't know how to.
And this was just you were just downloading, or like, was that just coming to you?
It was just coming to me. Like, I could see a huge overgrown tree that had no shape or form, and I could climb this huge tree with my chainsaw and my nippers and just bonsai this thing, because I could see it before it was done. And so my gift and how I scout talent and how I discover and kind of see who has that gift, and what I see is, that's why I use my camera now, is to show people how I see them. And I use my camera my whole life to show the world how I see the world. So
did you shoot the people and then they became stars, or did you shoot stars? Like, how did that kind of facilitate? So I would find these kids. The guy Greg would take the pictures, and after the 5th model I brought to him, he's like, I'm never doing this again for you. I'm done. You're giving me a full-time job. Every week I come home, there's people at my front door with you trying to get. And I was like, and he goes, I'm giving you my camera, take it. I'm not doing it anymore. And I'm like, bro, I don't know how to use it. I'm scared of this. I have no idea. I was literally like tears rolling down my head, thinking my best friend was going to abandon me doing it. Right. And he goes, bro, and I go, I don't want to hold it. I'm scared of it. And he ran to the corner, got his tripod, screwed it on, totally pissed. And he gives me the tripod. He goes, you don't even need to effing hold this anymore. Just put it on P and take the pictures. Here's how you load. He got me in a headlock. He's like, get over here. And this is how you load the effing thing. I'm done, Jay. I'm done with you. I'm done. And I'm like, bro, please. Begging. So I went home, stared at it in the corner of my room, thinking everything was done. And I said, I'm going to go. And I went again, and I found more girls, and I started using the camera, started making mistakes. And the agencies were like, you have the best eye. This is crazy. You're so young. Like, you're doing all of this, the makeup and the hair, and taking these pictures and finding this talent. Every person you bring, we're signing to our agency. Like, it's unheard of, like your eye. We want to now give you 10% of every model's job they get, of anyone you bring us. And I'm like,
wait, you're going to pay me to do, this is so amazing what I'm doing, but you're going to pay me? They're like, why are you doing this? Are you not getting paid from them? I'm like, no, I just like showing people how I see them. And I like to cut someone's hair, do their makeup, and turn them around and look in the mirror. And the look on some of these people's faces, like I can never, there's no money worth that. And I go, and that look on people's face, that's why I'm doing it. And I would show them the photos, and these parents and these kids would be like, I can't believe that's me. I can't believe you did that. Like, you did that. How did you? And I thought, like, that was my winning thing. Like, that's all I had. Like, I felt so kicked out and abandoned and cast out and thrown out by everyone around me. And my family, where I thought it was safe and being loving. And I used this camera and my gifting to show people that I had something to say and that I was worth it.
You have discovered people on farms. You have taken people out of incarceration. I mean, Taylor Marie Hill, you discovered when she was, I believe, 14.
Yeah.
You just saw her on a farm. Then Jeremy Meeks, who was also kind of like, his headshot went viral. You kind of picked him up from, I believe, when he was let off to all his, where he's at now. I mean, those are some big names in the fashion world, if not the biggest. Yeah. Like, what? Anybody else? Is there anybody else who you I think Gigi
Hadid. Yeah.
Gigi Hadid. She was, you saw her as a model before her mom.
I saw her when she was 14 in Malibu. And she was on a swing set at John's Garden. And she was there, and I was with my friend Carrie Elways, the actor, and my friend Lisa Marie. We were having a picnic on the lawn, and we saw Gigi. And I was like, oh my God, look at this girl. She's amazing. I'm like, Lisa, Carrie, come with me. So we walked up to Gigi. She was carrying a little baby on the swing set. It was her niece. And I said, are you a model? She's like, no. I'm like, what's your name? They're like, Lisa Marie's like, she goes, I'm Gigi. She goes, I was a model when I was a little girl, like a little kid, but I'm not a model. I just play volleyball. I go to Malibu High. We're like, you should be a model. This is Jim Jordan. He's a model scout. He managed Taylor Hill. And it's a great, amazing girls. Is your mom around? So she goes, yeah, she's over there. And she's like, what do you think? She goes, I don't know. Like, so she goes, my mom's over there. So we walk around the corner. We are at John's Garden. And we walk around the corner, and her mom was there with David Foster. And David looked at Carrie Elways, because Carrie's the Princess Bride.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh my God, Carrie. And they all hugged it out.
Yeah.
And Yolanda was sitting there watching David, because they were just dating, almost getting married at the time. And Carrie was like, this is Jim Jordan. He's like a family friend of ours. He's a model scout. He manages a ton of talent. And he saw your daughter Gigi. She goes, hi, I'm Yolanda. And met Lisa and Carrie and me. And he thinks she should be a model. And Yolanda was like, what do you think, Gigi? Like, what do you think? And Gigi's kind of like, I don't know.
Like whatever.
Like, she's
like, whatever. Like,
this is awkward. Like,
I want to play volleyball.
And she goes, okay. And my friend Lisa Marie was saying, JJ scouted so many great girls. He has the biggest model in the world, Taylor Hill. Yeah. And he's amazing. I've known him my whole life. He's a fashion photographer. And I look at Yolanda and I'm like, wait a minute. I go, were you a model? And she goes, I go, were you a model and you used to have straight bangs and are you from Holland? She's like, yeah, I was a model like 1,000,000 years ago. And I go, did you used to have straight bangs when you had a model? And she goes, yeah. And I go, I think I did one of my first photography jobs for Mirror Magazine with you. I go up at that house and I pointed up on the hill that I shot her at. And she's like, from Mirror Magazine? Yeah. I go, it's a 2-day shoot. I shot you with this big telescope and this metal outfit, like metal hot pants and this futuristic, amazing clothes. And then the next day I shot you at Leo Carrillo on the beach all day, bathing suits, like jumping in the air the whole day. She's like, oh my God, what's your name again? I'm like, Jim Jordan. She goes, Jim Jordan. She gets up and gives me the biggest hug. She goes, oh my God, I remember.
Wow.
And she goes, JJ, Yolanda, Gigi, JJ's legit. Like, he's a full-on legit guy. Like, let's see.
Do you think that's why some people are really afraid of the business? Because it's so competitive, number one, and I don't think people understand how competitive it is. And then number two, there are moments where people, kind of give them a really bad experience.
Absolutely.
So what is kind of your, I guess, how do you kind of protect somebody from, how can you like show somebody like the roadmap of like, this is what you should, kind of look for that in those situations?
I tell everybody to do research and to vet people out and to ask questions and to call people. And if people say that they manage talent and they are scouting you or being acting, I would ask them for numbers of the other kids and other relationships to call.
Yeah.
And just do your due diligence.
You have to. But now we got the internet, so that really does help out a lot.
Yeah. And there's a lot of sharks out there still, even though we have.
Wow, it's so funny, and I wanted to go to Taylor because I met Taylor through you.
Yeah.
And you had her working with me because we're gonna have her be an actress.
Yeah,
well, she was. She's an actress.
Yeah.
But I remember at 15, she was like, "I don't want to model." Do you remember this moment?
Yeah.
Taylor says, "I don't want to model. I just want to act." And you come to me and you go, "She's about to turn down a $7 million, a 7-figure contract when she turns 18 with Victoria's Secrets. You have to talk to her, Max." Do you remember that moment?
Yeah.
Do you have, what is it like? How do you deal with those moments? Like as a rep, knowing that you're going to have a millionaire on your hand. That's not easy these days to be a model and be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? How is that for you? As like a manager, going from photographer to manager now, and having that.
You're funny.
You've shot Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
All the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Carrie from Princess Bride. Have you shot Carrie?
Carrie always a bunch. Yeah.
You've hands down shot the biggest people in the world. What? How did that opportunity come? Like, who gave you the first opportunity of the A-lister to become like the photographer for the A-lister?
So I did. So after I was finding all the models, getting them signed to the model agencies when I was a young kid.
Making it look easy.
I had all these pictures, these black and white contact sheets that I had. And then I was kidnapped for a year and a half. And I was taken away. And I was taken away for 6 months by this person. And then I was brought home. And then I was taken away again. And I would spend my life on the road with this person teaching me how to not be afraid of the world. And that's a whole nother interview because it's a pretty gnarly story. And I don't know what else to say because we'll be here for hours. Yeah. But he taught me a lot. He taught me a lot about, I did a lot of really bad things. And he taught me how to shoot guns, and he taught me how to not be afraid, and was robbing liquor stores and robbing houses and robbing people. And he was a street fighter, kickboxer, and all he wanted to do was get in a street fight every day and rob and steal and pillage. And I was cast out, and I was taken away from my school by this person. Wow. And so a year and a half later, it got really, really dangerous for me. And I was super scared that I was going to go to jail the rest of my life, or I was going to be killed by this man because I saw too much. And I ended up getting away in the middle of the night.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
And I stole my brother's identity. And I got a passport with a one-way ticket to Milan. And I was 16, 2 weeks before my 16th birthday.
Oh, my God.
And I lived in the park in Milan for 6 months. And I had a skateboard, and I realized I couldn't skateboard there because the streets are all cobblestone. And I thought there would be models and photo shoots because all the models I was finding in LA were being sent to Milan. So I thought it was like Disneyland of models and photographers everywhere, and I could just go there with all the models that were being sent there.
How did you eat? How did you?
I had $1,500 to my name when I bought the ticket, and I think my ticket then was like $600. So I had a few $100s to go, and then I started realizing where the nightclubs were. And I could go to the clubs at night, and I could do all the things that I was taught to do. I could meet people and get people to take me home, and I could steal their shit. I could go to the park and sell their jewelry. I was doing anything I could do to get away and to stay free and away from the abuse, away from him, away from my parents, away from the medication, away from the people that knew me that didn't celebrate me. And I went away. And I met some models there. 6 months later, they told me where the modeling agencies were, and I went in, and I had the pictures in my backpack with my skateboard, and I didn't know where any of the agencies were in Italy. I didn't know. There was no cell phones. There was no yellow pages. I was just landlocked. And I had my little camera, and I'd take pictures of all the rugby players in the park, and I made friends, and I'd smoke hash, and I got to be friends with these guys that hung out in the park every day.
And you go sleep in the park.
And I'd go sleep in the park, and it would rain, and I'd go to the museum, and I'd sleep outside under the corridor up against the building.
How do you not going through all that at 6 and you're 16, how do you not lose faith?
I didn't ever have faith, really. I'd always ran. I didn't know what I thought of faith was the people that knew Jesus. And because I didn't know really any other religion besides Christianity, and I grew up next to the Cohen family, and they were Jewish, my whole family, and that's the only thing I ever really knew about religion. I didn't know what faith was. But at the time, I just knew that those people that always pointed their finger at me, telling me I was going to hell by the things that I'd done and the things that I'd been doing, I was going to go to hell, and that God and their God would never have anything to do with me. And so I ran from that God and from those people that were saying, you're going to go to hell. You're a pot smoker, you have sex, you do crazy shit. And I just didn't want nothing to do with those people or that guy Jesus or the people that said he was going to put me in hell. And that I had to do certain things to jump through hoops for God to love me. And so I ran so far. And I didn't know, what faith was. And so I met some models in the park, and I went into this model agency. And I walked in, and the woman didn't speak English. And I says, I need to, and this man came out. He goes, hi, my name is Luigi. How can I help you? I go, my name is Jim Jordan. I'm from California. I've been scouting models, and I wanted to meet somebody here. I met some models on the street that told me to come here. And I pulled out the pictures. I go, I've been scouting models. And here are some of the models I was scouting and placing. They were all sent. And he's like, where are they? Oh, my God, these are beautiful. Why didn't you bring them to me? And I'm like, I don't know. They're somewhere in Milan at some agency. And he goes, why didn't you bring them to us? They're beautiful. Where is this person? And I was just looking at him, and he goes, how can I help you? And I stood there, and I was frozen. Because I didn't maybe not know how to ask for help from anybody. Right. And I stood there, and I just started bawling. And he's like, son, he put his arm on me. He goes, what's wrong? Are you okay? And I'm like, I'm not okay. I was just like, I've been here for 6 months, and I don't know anybody, and I'm living in the park. And I need help. I don't have any money, and I need to do something. He's like, what can you do? What do you want to do? I'm like, I'll take pictures, I'll scout, I'll do makeup, I'll do hair. He goes, why don't you meet photographers here, magazines, and do makeup and hair? You did this in these pictures.
Wow.
Come
Wow.
and do makeup, and why don't you come on Monday, and I'll make some calls for you.
Wow.
And I was like, he's hugging me, so nice, his dad, like a dad. gave me the biggest hug. You're going to be fine. It's a pep talk. And I leave. I come back over the weekend. Then I come back Monday, and he makes some phone calls for me. And he says, there's a bus that leaves Milan, and it goes to a place like Condé Nast. It's called Mondadori. And I'm going to give you the bus money, and you go there, and it's twice a day. You can't miss it. It comes back at 5 o'clock from there. It leaves there at 5. And it leaves here at 8 in the morning, and you go there, and there's a magazine called Grazia. And I've told the editor you're coming. I told him I met you. Just show him these pictures. So I go there on this bus out in the country, an hour and a half. Looking out the windows like, wow, this is so beautiful. Like, this is the ugly city I'm seeing in the distance, and it's these beautiful rolling Italian hills and vineyards. And I look in the distance, it's like the Wizard of Oz, this beautiful glass building in the distance in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, is that where I'm going? And I go in through security. It's like beautiful water fountains all around it. It's so beautiful.
Wow.
And I go in, I meet this man at this magazine, Grazia, and he's like, hello. I'm like, I'm Jim. I've been doing makeup and hair and taking pictures, and I met Luigi. He asked me to come in and show you my photos. And this woman interrupts the meeting, comes running in, speaking Italian. And I'm looking at her like, she's looking at me. He's talking to her, and she's frantic with her hands. I don't know what to do. And he looks at me and goes, can you go to work right now?
Wow.
And I'm like, me? He goes, yeah. I go, I don't have any makeup or hair or nothing with me. He goes, don't worry. She's telling me the hair and makeup person's an hour and a half late, and the whole team's upstairs in the studio waiting, and they need somebody right now. Could you go work? We'll pay you. And I'm like, okay. So I go upstairs with the stylist and the model sitting in the chair, this short hair, blue-eyed,
16 years old.
Yeah. And this girl sitting in the chair, her name's Pam Pfeiffer. She's Canadian model, beautiful. And the photographer comes up, hi, how are you? This is what we're doing. Thank you. You saved us. And I do her makeup literally like 30 minutes, like nothing. Super natural, beautiful. And that day, I got my first cover of Grazia magazine in 10-page fashion story. And then the magazine kept rebooking me over and over. And then I started meeting, like Harper's Bazaar was in, all the magazines were there. And so I started meeting people on set, and I started working pretty much almost every day at Mondadori. I moved out of the park. I got a pension.
Oh, fuck.
I lived in this like youth hostel pension.
Wow.
And I started making money, and I started building this book, and I started working for all these magazines. So I stop at this magazine cover. It's Elizabeth Taylor on the cover, and she's dressed as Cleopatra. And I'm memorized by how beautiful it was, like the diamonds and the rhinestones on her face. I never saw anything like this. And as I'm looking at it, I hear a voice say to me, you're going to do that on every movie star in Hollywood. And it was just a voice that came in, and it just passed. And it went out the next year. I never thought of it ever again. Speed up years later, I'm back from Milan. I get an agent representing me. When I'm 19, I fly back here, and the modeling agencies when I was a young kid saying, you should get an agent to represent you doing makeup and hair. And you learn photography by all the photographers you work with. And I'm like, I don't want to be a hair and makeup person. Like I don't want a label. I don't want to be picked on. I don't want to be seen like I'm a hairdresser working in a hair salon.
Right.
I don't want to get my ass beaten by my parents and my brothers and people picking on me thinking I'm fiddling with hair.
Stop telling me what I have to do.
Yeah.
Right? Don't put me in a box.
And they're like, and I go, I don't really want to be a photographer. They're like, well, why are you doing all of this? The model agencies when I'm in the 7th grade. I'm like, I just like transforming things in people, and when they look in the mirror, that look on their face, that's what I'm looking for. That's why I'm doing it, to get those people looking at me that way. And they're like, what? That's crazy. So I come back from Milan. I'm 19. I get an agent representing me, and they're like, this is beautiful what you've done. It's been so young. You're so young still. So they start calling me, and they're like, you're going to do tomorrow. I get signed the next week. I get a call. You're doing Heather Locklear for the cover of Red Book magazine with Bert Stern. He's the last photographer to shoot Marilyn Monroe. The next week, I get a show. They're going, you're working with you're working with a guy named Matthew Broderick. He's doing a new show, a movie called Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You're going to be doing his hair and makeup for the billboards and all the movie posters for this new movie. I'm like, who's Matthew Broderick? Then they're like, the next week, they're like, you're doing a woman named Molly Ringwald for the cover of Time magazine. And I'm like, who's Molly Ringwald? What is Pretty in Pink? Like, what? And I just started working, doing fashion, and this agency just got me on this train, this crazy ride. You're going to South Bend, Indiana to work with a woman named Whitney Houston. She's opening up for the Special Olympics. I'm like, who's Whitney Houston? And all these names and all these Hollywood peoples, my agent would be calling me saying, you're going to do these people's makeup. You're working with Arnold Schwarzenegger for the cover of Muscle and Fitness. I'm like, who's Arnold Schwarzenegger? And all this world, as all these movie stars were coming up and they were launching into the scene, like my career was launching in the scene. And they're like, you're doing Farrah Fawcett for the cover of Life magazine with Douglas Kirkland. I'm like, I know who she is because I had that poster in my room. And I started working, traveling, going back and forth to New York, and you're doing Bloomingdale's with Cindy Crawford. And I bring my little camera in my makeup bag.
What camera is that?
It was that one, the Nikon, my next door neighbor gave me.
So the Nikon.
And I'd be working with, Farrah Fawcett, and I'd finish the day, be with her 10 hours doing her hair and makeup. And I'm like, I just got to get a picture of her with my camera. I got to get a picture with my camera. And I'd carry her bags out, so afraid to ask. Afraid the photographers were going to hear or find out or see me, like poaching their talent and me. I just was weird. And back in those days, it was so competitive and scary, like having a camera on set. It wasn't like now. And so she'd be getting in her car. I'm carrying her bags. I go, Farrah, can I take a picture of you? She'd be like, of course. Like, what, where? And I'm like, I have my camera in the back. I'm like, come over here, stand next to the wall. And I'd be like, turn like this, be like this. So I'd sneak on these pictures. I'd be with Cindy Crawford on the beach for Bloomingdale's. I'm like, Cindy, at lunch, let's walk down the beach and go swimming. And I'd have my camera all stealth hidden out in my bag. I'd go down the beach with a team. The photographers, the team couldn't see us. And I'd whip my camera out after
Nikon.
And I'd just start collecting all these pictures of these movie stars, of these famous movie stars, in this black box in my closet. And I never told anybody. And all these supermodels I'd be shooting, Tatiana Petite and Naomi and Cindy and Farrah and Whitney and all these big movie stars. I'd hide this box in my closet and thinking, I'm never going to be a photographer, but I just don't want to miss the moments of taking pictures of how I see these people. And so my agency called me one day and they're saying, you're doing Elizabeth Taylor for a fragrance campaign with Helmut Newton.
Cleopatra. At
her house in the Holmby Hills. And I was like, what? Like Elizabeth Taylor? No way. I knew who that was. And I went to her house and went through security and went to her, rang the doorbell. I was carrying my makeup and my hair bag. And she answered the door in a white robe and a white towel in her head, around her head. And she had a big initial E on her. Her housekeeper was there. And she gave me a hug. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Do you want some tea? Let's go upstairs. We go in her bathroom. She lays a white towel down on her beautiful, in her vanity. And I look at her in the mirror and I'm like, and that voice came back. The voice when I was a 5-year-old that said I was going to do every movie star in Hollywood. And I looked at her and that voice, I never thought of it ever again since that time. Wow. And Elizabeth Taylor's I'm looking at her through the mirror, like waiting for me to do her makeup. I start bawling. I was just like this is, how did I get here? Right. I was just saying, how did I get here? This is crazy. How did I get here? How did that happen? How did that happen? That I've been working with all these movie stars and that voice I heard say that I was going to do this do the makeup on every movie star in Hollywood. And I just started, tears were pouring down my face. And she's like, are you okay?
She's like, are you a fan?
and I was so embarrassed.
You're like Cleopatra.
Yeah, I was so embarrassed. I go, yeah, I'm okay. She's like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's just surreal that this is happening. And she goes, what? And I go, can I tell you something? Yeah. And I told her exactly what I told you.
Do you think that AI will change this? I mean, because your story is such a dynamic story. I mean, do you think with technology now, it's just going to come in and kind of just take over? And
I think AI is absolutely, I don't know if it'll fully take over, but I think it's going to be a big, big, big threat for a lot of artists and a lot of filmmakers. But I think people will really want that human connection, though. And I think there might be a time where AI gets so gnarly that it's gonna flip upside down. Something's gonna flip, and something will change. Because it'll get so, I think, blown out of proportion
that we're gonna need to go back to our roots.
We're gonna need to have that human connection again, and be able to feel the emotions of what humanity is here to feel and to do. And especially with creating art. Like, yeah, I could put a picture and retouch and manual and add beautiful hair and skin and makeup and eyes and make the eyes. It's so amazing what it can do, and so amazing and time consuming. And on the flip side, it's like really building the puzzle yourself is the part of what's beautiful about making art. AI, we're still artists. People want to have those experiences. We want to have those classes, and we want to have those experiences working with a director and a filmmaker.
Right.
We want to be able to have the real emotions of seeing how to feel things.
We want to grow. We want to grow, not just show up and do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So are you a Nikon guy or a Canon guy now, with that being said?
I'm a Canon guy.
Wow, you left the Nikon. Well, the Nikon got you, snuck the photos.
Yeah, the Icon is the one that planted the seeds.
But the Canon, why?
The Canon, just there was a time when Nikon was the technology was a little behind Canon. And Nikon sponsored me. So they used to have me come to all their events and get on stage and talk, because the way I became a photographer isn't like, I never went to school. I never learned photography. I'm still not technical. I don't really know how to work a camera that good. But I've created a bunch of things with my camera where people are like, how did you create this body of work when you're not even you don't really know the ins and outs of how to work a camera?
Like a lot of directors. I mean, you direct also.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you didn't go to film school.
Correct.
You just kind of like have this visual in your head, and you're like, this works like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I do. If somebody's running, okay, I know I can't be at 125, it'll be blurry. Or if I know I used to do a ton of jobs and not know. I'd be shooting for Eddie Bauer, or I'd shoot Land's End, or I'd shoot for Brooks Brothers when I first started. And I put everything at f4, so the depth of field is very shallow. So some of these jobs, I'd have the face amazing, and all the buttons would be blurry. And I'd be like, oh my God. So when things like that happen, and clients are like, wait, all the clothes are blurry, but the faces are beautiful, but the clothes are
yeah, they're selling this.
And when I was making those kind of mistakes, I was like, oh, this is how I'm going to learn how to be a photographer.
Yeah.
By just trial and error and experimenting. And
Right. What do you do besides photography right now? I know you're producing with some people. You got some partners. And that segued from like managing clients to like now having partnerships. Can you talk on that at all?
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff in, gaming. I work a lot in blockchain. I do a lot of stuff in merging big entertainment companies into digital platforms. I had a big life-changing transformation about 2.5 years ago. I've, started my career doing makeup and hair, and I merged into being a fashion photographer, and I've been doing that for like 25 years. And I built some incredible clients and amazing brands and celebrities and companies that I work with. And I was always like, what's next? What's next? With my network, I have a really big network. I know a lot of people, and people were coming to me for marketing and branding and PR. And I was like, why aren't I opening more doors, and I started working, I met a guy, he created League of Legends, and it's one of the biggest games in the world, and he became my mentor, and I had a dinner with him, and we started talking about God, and we started talking about my heart, and I started asking him, how did you create the biggest game in the world? And he says, how did you become the biggest photographer? Like, tell me about that. And I swim a mile every morning in my pool, and I pray. And he was asking me to teach him to swim. And he goes, I want to teach you how to meditate. And I go, okay, I'll teach you how to swim, and you teach me how to meditate. So he started coming over 3 days a week and teaching me how to pray, to meditate. And he started mentioning a man named Dr. Joe Dispenza.
I remember when you came to the studio, I had been doing Joe Dispenza meditations in the morning, and I didn't tell you or anything, but you had been working with Joe, and you just had to stop at my studio and say, I got to see you.
Yeah.
And you were telling me about Joe, and I'm like, dude, I meditate to Joe every morning.
It's so crazy.
And so how are you guys collaborating?
So Thomas started teaching me how to meditate, and he started talking about a guy named Dr. Joe Dispenza. I was like, who's that? And he goes, we're going to do some guided meditations with Dr. Joe. He called me the next week. He goes, I'm taking you to Niagara Falls to do a 7-day meditation retreat. I want you to meet Dr. Joe. I'm like, wait, you know him? He goes, yeah, he's a friend of mine. So I go to the meditation. I'm tripping out. There's like 2,000 people in this room. And I go, and he says, Dr. Joe wants to have breakfast with you. And I'm like, how? Like, what do you mean? He goes, no, I told him about you. He wants to hear your story. So I go and I meet Dr. Joe, and we have breakfast and shared his life and my story, and we became friends. And I finished the 7 days, and after what happened in that room, those 7 days, my whole life changed. And I literally created a new timeline in my life.
Wow.
And I saw my future.
Wow.
And it wasn't I was hoping for it or trying to get it, that I just saw it. It already happened. Yeah. And I was able to walk in it and step in it. And then I came out, and I came back to my life here in LA. And I started realizing how powerful visualization is, and that what I've been doing my whole life is how I see you, Max, is how I use my camera to show you how I see you. And so I was like, wow, I've been doing that already with the way I see things and the way I see people. And a lot of things transpired. I started forgiving people, and I started not letting people off the hook, of people that have hurt me, and all the people that, when I think of them, I'm like, that hurts. And I want to keep moving forward, and I want to keep helping people. And I don't want to not to help people because it hurts so bad when I lose them.
Do you think that's part of it? Do you think it's part of why you are favored, why you are like where you're at, is because you love so hard and it hurts so much, and that's the actual price of it? Yeah,
I do. I never heard it like that, but yeah, I like that. So cool.
I remember one time somebody says, pressure is a privilege, and pressure creates diamonds.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so I got into the space. I started merging. I started going out to my network. Then I started meeting people and bringing them really quick. I was swimming right before this in the morning, and I was praying, and I was saying, God, help me forgive people. And it was like this whole forgiveness thing, and I just started naming people that hurt me. And then when I think of them, like I said, I just want to think of the happy times that I've been with them, not the sad of losing. And I got home, and an hour later, I laid my phone down. Sorry.
No.
And I came home to my office. I was in my white robe because I just got done swimming a mile. And I laid the phone down, and the phone was ringing. And I looked at it, and it was a man that stole $100,000 from me 5 years ago. And I never thought of him. But then in the last 5 years, I'd see he had tried to call, and I never picked his call up. I was like, forget that guy.
Yeah.
And this day, after I was praying to forgive people, his name was on the phone. And as I look at it, I slammed the phone down, like not picking his phone up.
Right.
And I heard a voice again say, you were just praying to forgive people. And I was like, this guy? 5 years, he's burned me $100,000. What? So I'm like, okay. So I pick up the phone. He goes, JJ. I go, hey, Morris, what do you want from me now? And he goes, JJ, oh my God, I can't believe you picked up my call. I've been calling you for 5 years to say I'm sorry to you. I'm so sorry. Please don't hang up. Jay, I got my wife back. I got my kids back. You're the only person I don't have in my life. He goes, I've messed up so bad, Jay. My whole life has changed. Please hear me. And I go, what's up, Morris? Are you in Australia? He goes, no, I'm in Las Vegas. He goes, Jay, I'm so rich. You have no idea what happened. And I laughed.
You're like with my 100K, bro.
Yeah, and I laughed. And my girls are on the speakerphone. They're listening. My producers are sitting there. He's like, I have to see you. I go, what do you mean you're so rich? He goes, Jay, I created the biggest gaming guild in the world. We grew to 36 countries in 11 months. I've made $160 million in the last 2 years. And I'm like, what? Gaming? What's a guild? I'm like, what are you talking about? I need to see you. I need to see you. Can you come to Vegas this weekend? Please, I need to see you. And I'm like, this urgency in his voice. And my girls are like, go.
Vegas, we're going.
You have the best laugh. So he's like, go. So I end up going. He sends a plane. I go to Vegas. I meet him. And he's like, gives me the biggest hug. He goes, come upstairs. I have something for you. And he goes, I'm giving you these tokens, 200,000 tokens. They're worth $7 each to say I'm sorry. I'm like, what are tokens? What's blockchain? What's crypto? I have no idea what you're talking about. He goes, just sign this paper. So he goes, I'm going to teach you everything about my space, about where the world is going with blockchain and with crypto and with gaming and with technology and AI and wellness. And I want to share everything. He goes, out of everybody I know, you have the biggest network of anyone I've ever met, and you have a heart of gold. And I've seen you work harder for people than anyone I've ever met in my life. And I'm tired of watching people hurt you. And he goes, and I want you to have a $20, $30 million win at a time. And I want to teach you everything I can. And I ended up being there for 10 days with him, and he started just downloading to me everything.
But you had to forgive.
And I forgave him.
But you had to forgive or start to forgive.
And I forgave him.
Pick up the phone.
Exactly. And that was the hardest thing and one of the best lessons I'd ever learned. Yeah. And since I forgave him, he taught me about this world. And then when I went to Dr. Joe, everything just kind of merged in together. And so I just did a big deal with, a 5-year contract with Bling Empire and with Jeff Jenkins. And I did a 5-year deal with American Ninja Warrior and Hell's Kitchen. I just merged this one of the biggest children's cartoon in the world called Mesha and the Bear. And we just bought 5 years. We just did a deal where we bought all the rights for all the digital rights for Mesha. We're creating gaming and metaverses, and I'm doing a lot of consulting and wellness, and I have a wellness company I'm a part of now. I'm doing stuff in, biotech. We have a cancer drug that's curing melanoma and breast cancer and all these different things. Can't really say that publicly, but we have the craziest stuff of these clinics that are doing the craziest things with wellness and healing and light and sound. And I partner with this other company where they're getting kids with nonverbal autism to speak in 3 days, and quadriplegics to get their minds back turned on to send messages. Just the Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, what's happening in the world and wellness that the government isn't telling us about is unbelievable in what's happening. And I want to be a beacon of light and hope and help people and use my influence to share to the world there's things out there that they're hiding from us that they don't want us to know about, and I think something magnificent's about to happen. Jeremy Meeks.
Meeks. Oh my God, Meeks. It's my brother. You introduced us.
Yeah.
He's doing so well. He's acting. He's he's so grown. He's going to start directing soon.
Yeah.
You know, kind of coming into his life and experiencing.
I met Jeremy when he was in jail. I saw his picture on the news. A buddy, I was like, wow, that guy's super handsome. And I heard all the agencies were fighting over him and all this stuff. And I was hearing all this stuff, like he was getting offers from everybody. And a week later, I got a call from a guy named Justin. And he goes, Justin, JJ, do you know that Jeremy, that hot felon guy? And I go, yeah, I saw him on the news. He goes, you should be managing him out of everybody. And I'm like, no, every agency's after him. I don't want to go in that ring. I'm not gonna start trying to compete with agents. And he goes, dude, out of everybody, you should be managing him. He goes, I have a number of somebody with their family. I'm going to give you their number. Just call and tell them who you are. So I'm like, Justin, back off. Like, I don't want to do it. He goes, JJ, please just call. Just tell them who you are. So I call. Or I send an email. My name is Jim Jordan. I'm a talent manager. I'm a fashion photographer. I discovered Taylor Hill and Gigi, and I work with all these different agencies all over the world. And I would love to speak with someone. Please call me. And I get a call the next day, or I get an email, and they says, the woman was like, hi, back the fuck off and stop trying to poach my client. And her business address and shit was there. So I call my friend Justin. I go, bro, this is exactly why I didn't want to do that. Exactly why I didn't want to do it. And he goes, no, call her back and tell her who you are. Call her. Is her phone number there? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, what's her name? I'm not going to say. And the number. So I call back and I said, hey, hi, my name is Jim Jordan. And I want to say I'm sorry, and by no means was I calling to poach your client. I had no idea he had an agent or a manager. All I wanted to do was add value and to help him. She goes, what's your name? I go, Jim Jordan. And I could hear her typing.
Google me, motherfucker.
I heard her typing. She goes, wait a minute, are you a photographer? And I'm like, yeah, I do that too. She goes, wow, you're a really good photographer. Where are you located? And I go, I'm in Calabasas. She goes, oh my God, I was just there yesterday. Where in Calabasas?
Yeah.
I go, I live in the Oaks. She goes, oh my God, well, we should meet.
Of course.
So she comes up the next day, and she comes walking up the driveway, and I do some research on her, and I'm like, wow, okay. So she comes up the driveway and she goes, oh my God, I feel magic here. I feel something on your property. And I was like barefooted. I didn't have a shirt on. It was like summer. I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm free. And she hugs me and she tells me her whole life story, that Jeremy was going to get out of jail, that she was his manager. And Jeremy was going to get out of jail and move in with her and her daughter in the Hollywood Hills. I go, isn't he married? I thought he's married. She goes, yeah, he is, but he's going to live with me. And I'm like, cool. And so that was it. She goes, okay, that's it. I like you a lot. You're amazing, and I want you to be my partner. Let's co-manage him. I know nothing about fashion. I know nothing about your world. And I have so many deals on the table, like things, just emails. I don't even know how to reply. So that day she sends me like 700 emails for all these things. Fox News, CNN, Piers Morgan. And then I get a call from Fox News. Hi, can we talk to Jim? That same day. Hi, this is Fox News. We got a word that you're managing, White Cross is managing Jeremy Meeks. And I'm like, I can't talk to you. And I had no idea why that fast they started. And I call her back, this woman. I go, how are these news stations calling me about? She goes, oh, I did a press release that you were managing Jeremy. Co-managing, managing him. So the other day I call her up. I like, look, if I'm going to manage this guy, I need to meet him. Have you met him before? She goes, no, I've never met him. I'm like, that's weird. This is weird. This is all being weird. I go, you never met him? Well, I'm going to fly up and meet him. Can I meet him? She goes, well, the only number I have is his sister, and you can get the number for his wife. So I fly up to San Francisco to go meet him. Have you heard this story?
I'm hearing it. Detailed.
You're You're getting the first exclusive. So I go to me and my assistant Michaela fly up there, and I talk to his wife. And she goes, hello. And I'm like, hey, I'm Jim Jordan. She was not happy. Yeah. And she goes, okay, well, I'll meet you at the airport, but very kind of standoffish.
Right.
And I get out of the car. I get out of the plane. I come out to the car, and she's like, call me and I'll pick you up. So she pulls over and she goes, so she pulls up. She's honking, beep, beep. And I open the door. She goes, come in. She goes, first of all, I don't know who the fuck you are. And I don't know what you want with my husband. But this woman, I'm not saying her name, is not Jeremy's manager, and she has nothing to do with us, and all she's trying to do is fuck my husband. And I'm like, okay.
Download that.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So she goes, tell me who you are. And we sat there right in the terminal, wouldn't leave. And I just says, well, I'm Jim. And I started sharing my life, sharing my story. She goes, okay, you seem like you're legit. And Michaela was with me. And she goes, let's go eat. So we go eat. And she goes, I'm going to take you to meet Jeremy. So we go to the prison. And I wait in line. There's like 200 people in line. And they take our phones, take everything. And I'm in the line. We're like 30 in line. And the cops are staring at us. And they point at me. And they're like, come here, get out of line. They're like, you're not going in. Because they have my ID and stuff. And they're like, you're with the press, you're not going in. And his, love her. Melissa's like, what the fuck, you let him in. He came all the way from LA to see him, that's my husband. He's not with the press, he's famous, but he's not with the press. They're like, we looked at his picture, he's shoots for magazines and whatever. So I go, we leave. I talked to Melissa the whole day. We spend the whole day together. Very lovely, super nice. She totally warmed up and said, okay, I'm going to tell Jeremy everything about you in our meeting. Like, you're like legit. So she leaves and says, I'm going to talk to Jeremy. And she goes, here's the deal. Jeremy gets one phone call every week for 15 minutes, and I want to give my phone calls to you.
Wow.
I want you to meet him. That next week on Monday, he called me at 10 in the morning. I had to put money in his account from my credit card so he could call. And he was like, hey, like, this is Jeremy. Like, thank you so much for coming up here, sitting with my wife. And my wife told me some really beautiful things about you, and thank you for your heart and your caring about me. And he was just so amazing and loving and kind and thankful. And I just started talking every Monday for a year and a half. We talked on the phone. And I started encouraging him, loving him, sending him books to read, journals to write in, telling him that his future was so big and bright and that he wasn't going to go back to where he came from. And he never knew anyone in the space, knew nothing about acting, knew nothing, no models. All he wanted to do was his instinct was to go back, what he knew. And I go, you are not going back. And we started a beautiful relationship and a friendship. And then I cared for the guy, and I wanted to put a world around him. And I wanted this. So the day he got out of jail, I was there. I got a TV show, reality TV show with the people that do Hell's Kitchen and all of them. We had a big camera crew. And I stood on the corner in a cornfield. They wouldn't let me on the property of the prison. Wow, really? And me and my team stood on the corner, and his wife and kids went down this big dirt road down to the prison. It just went way in the distance. And then an hour later, we see the car come up this road. And I'm like, I want to meet Jeremy for the first time. And he came up, and he was in the passenger seat. I was standing on the corner of this big wheat field, nothing around. And he came driving up, and his head was out the window, like staring at me. And he had his orange jumpsuit on. And he jumped out of the car before it even stopped rolling. And he jumped out of the car, and he ran over to me and hugged me and picked me up, like spinning me around. He's like, I can't believe you really came.
Wow.
He's like, I can't believe you're here. And he goes, "Get me out of this." And he unzipped his jumpsuit and stripped down in the middle of the street. And he had his white boxers on. I was like, damn, this guy is I didn't know how tall he was. I didn't know what he really looked like.
He could have been 5'6".
All I saw was
Instead, he's like 6'1", the perfect model.
He whips his clothes off. I'm like, dude, he's ripped and amazing. I was like, no way, this is crazy how big this is going to be.
Yeah.
I had all these jobs lined up in Paris and London and Russia, like crazy things that we put together. And they let me kind of be his parole officer. I moved him in my house. The parole officers came to my house. They went through every drawer, every closet. They frisked my whole house for guns and drugs. And they liked my reputation and liked me. So they're like, okay, we will never let anybody out of the country like this. And I'm like, how does this guy get work? Like, help him. They're like, okay, we'll trust you. And so then we went to Israel, we went to Russia, we went to Paris, we went to London, we went to New York, we went everywhere. Went to Germany, just boom, 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 boom. We were
that little kid that was in Milan.
Yeah, and then
became the father,
And then we went to Monaco, and that's where we met Chloe Green. And that's when Chloe came in, and we started traveling the world with Chloe, and they fell in love. They had a baby. And Jeremy's on a roll, and I love him, and he's like my heart. Like,
he loves you too.
He's a huge, huge part of my life, and he helped me as much as I helped him.
He'd come to class from Stockton, make class every weekend.
Yeah.
Sunday nights.
He's so awesome.
He's a real deal. He does plays now.
So
does
amazing.
Plays, does TV. Oh man, we're proud of him.
Yeah.
How much of a model is good looks opposed to Photoshop?
A lot is, to me, the models that I represent are different than a lot of the models that are out there working. And I think it's sometimes a bone structure, the width of somebody's eyes, but some of the models you look at, you're like, I can't believe you're even a model. This is crazy. You're not pretty to you. Like, everyone's opinion is very different. That's a big question, but I think there's so much to do with Photoshop and hair and makeup. When you see some of the girls stripped down with nothing, and you're like, whoa, that's the same person. It's 50-50. And some girls are the most beautiful girls in the world, like Taylor. You're stunningly, amazingly beautiful. But some of the girls, obviously, it's who you know. It's not so much how beautiful they are anymore. It's who they're related to, who their families are. I think a lot of it there's a lot of things that are playing into how a model, it's not that a model is successful, but how much plays into being good looking opposed to what's Photoshop. That's very different. There's some girls that are stunningly beautiful, but I think Photoshop has been a big help for a lot of people.
Do a lot of models come out of Calabasas? Because it seems like it's a breeding ground of elites.
Well, what's happening in Calabasas is there's a vortex. And there's a vortex there because there's a toroidal field in Calabasas.
Okay.
Which I'm just discovering, because a lot of people have always told me, wow, you live in Calabasas? There's a what did I say at first? Not a toroidal field.
Can you get into that? What do you mean it's a toroidal? Should I move to Calabasas?
No, let's don't get into it. Wait, let me just finish.
I think I need to move to Calabasas.
There's a vortex. So people have always like, you live in Calabasas, there's a vortex there. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean a vortex?
Yeah, because that sounds crazy.
We were discovered it's a toroidal field. And like Miley and Madonna and the Kardashians and tons of stars.
Does it fall into the guidelines of there's a certain frequency that people are in tune to?
Yes.
And they kind of attract to each other, so therefore they're in that vicinity with each other, which creates another frequency to attract people there?
Yes.
Is that kind of what that is?
Art can explain better.
Okay.
But yes, and right on the edge of the toroidal field, there's crazy shit happening, and we can explain that to you. It's gnarly, and I sound like a psychopath even bringing this up.
It sounds crazy, but I kind of like it makes
bear with
sense.
me,
Yeah,
just
no,
because
no.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing and hearing and experiencing either, and I don't think I'm crazy. I'm just.
I think you're in tune.
I want to be educated.
I think you're in tune. I
It's
mean, you're getting, you know, something's telling you at 5 that you're going to shoot Elizabeth Taylor, and then you do it.
Yeah,
so there's something there, right?
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
something
yeah.
there that was right, and so
it's pretty interesting, and I'm very curious
right.
about a lot of things.
So then, yes, there is a breeding ground in Calabasas for like beautiful people.
Yeah, and the supernatural.
There you go. There you go. Connected to God.
Connected.
Okay.
I think beautiful people are meant to be in front of people. And I think God creates people to look a certain way because they're meant to be a voice for people that don't have one.
Right.
And that's why I manage talent. I manage beautiful people because I'm trying to raise them to have a voice for people that don't have one.
Would you say that you're raising their frequency?
I'm raising their frequency, and I'm raising their identity for them to discover and explore and uncover who they really are.
What's the biggest thing to raise the frequency? If you
Get
give me
people to not listen to the world of who we're caught and hypnotized to believe who we need to be.
So don't believe propaganda.
Yeah, and don't believe what the world's telling us we need to be who we are. That you don't need this and you don't need that. You don't need all these things that the world has hypnotized us to believe we need to be who we're called to be.
Because who we're called to be is like undefinable.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
And I know that's a loaded question too. That's another podcast.
Yeah, because it's like, what part of it is soul? What part of it is frequency? What part of it is to elevate the soul to the frequency? How to do it?
Yeah.
And then reflect really what's on the inside shining out.
Yeah.
Do you believe in paradigm shifts?
Yes.
Do you believe that with paradigm shifts, it's either through repetition or great change in your life that you can achieve that?
Both.
So routine is a paradigm shift.
Yeah. I believe it's about seeing and visualizing and seeing it, believing it, knowing, speaking it into existence.
Is this something that has been here through centuries?
Absolutely. Way so much more back in the pyramid days.
With the business, a lot of people do develop disorders.
Absolutely.
Just body dysmorphia. Why and how? I mean, how do you navigate somebody through that? What's healthy? What's not healthy? I mean, it used to be cocaine and cigarettes was the diet.
Yeah, and Diet Coke.
And a Diet Coke.
It's a tricky one. It's why I opened my management company of what I could do to help. And even in saying that, some of the talent that I've managed in my day aren't here anymore. I had a beautiful girl, the most beautiful girl ever, hang herself in her father's motorhome in the driveway of the front of their house. I've seen so many girls like having eating disorders and major problems because of what the world is showing us. It's like what Photoshop and AI is creating. And it really started with Photoshop, having these bodies that's unattainable for people. And I don't think the world and girls back when this, anorexia has been around a long time. And it's the craziest disease.
How do you feel about the opposite movement with somebody that's not like a plus size model, and how that's kind of navigating through an ordinary people being like the poster child for some brands? How do you feel about that?
I think it's amazing what's happening with everybody having a chance, regardless of their shape or size or whatever. Yeah. I know in the fashion world, the designers only made sample sizes for a woman that has a 35 hip. And the way the world and the fashion business has been put together, where the models and the hoops that they need to jump through, is because of the sample sizes of the way the designers have cut the samples of their clothes to a girl with a 35 hip.
Because Khloe Kardashian goes in the opposite direction and makes jeans for the girl that has curves.
Yes, yeah. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
But back years ago, it wasn't like that. Thank God, it's changing, it's morphing into the reality of the humanness of who we really are, opposed to trying to fit into these boxes that are unobtainable and giving more people a fair chance.
So would you say that more people, though, desire a more symmetrical look or a more, I want to say, muscular look opposed to a curvier look?
I think there's a audience for everything.
Nowadays, right?
I think there's an audience for every type of look. And the beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and it's very different for everyone.
Is America obese?
America is very obese. And it's all the stuff that's in our foods and the preservatives and all the chemicals.
Yeah, there's a lot of food that is like not allowed in other countries that
It's
are
crazy
allowed here.
what's happening.
Like I believe cereal, isn't cereal? Like there's like some cereals that are completely banned in other countries.
It's so gnarly.
Even candy, there's candy that's banned in other countries.
It's crazy, Baba.
Is that part of the agenda, or is that just kind of it is what
Part
it is?
of
Money?
I don't have all those answers, but I think there's something going on that we all need to know about.
Do you think there's a room in which people sit around and say, we picked this person to be our next candidate? I've run out of conspiracy theories again because all of mine came true. So
No.
I gotta like come up with something new.
It's true.
Okay, so what about men? What about men with steroids? Is that something that's in the fashion world, or is it the opposite?
Like the Instagram models, it's all about steroids and it's all about six packs and full on. Like the real guys that are doing the modeling thing, they're the perfect like size for agencies and designers like Dolce & Gabbana and Louis Vuitton and Prada and these brands. They want skinny, tall guys.
So they want coffee and cigarettes, fasting.
They want
you
skinny,
fasting.
wafy looking guys that aren't real. They could be ripped, but they're skinny. They're not like the big muscle beach guys, but they're skinny, lean guys that are doing the big shows.
But it seems like there is again both audiences, but it does seem that the Instagram and the views and the clicks seem to be driving this too. Though it's like society is.
There's
egging
a
it
huge
on.
market for that. But the major guys that are the real models in the fashion business with the big agencies, like Jeremy. Jeremy's ripped, but he's not like big, bulky, hulky guy. No. He's a skinny, ripped, lean guy, you know?
Is there an age, like, is it ageless now? Because before fashion was like, there was a certain time where you could be a model. Now is it kind of like...
Yeah, it's ageless.
Really?
Yeah. You can get in. There's a market for everybody.
They like the gray beard, the gray hair, and the rips.
But they like the guys that have been models in the past. So when they're older now, they have portfolios that have been... Right. It's mostly the legend models that were big at the time, like Jeff Aquilon and those kind of guys, that they're now in their 60s and 70s, and they're still...
Ripped.
Bruce Hulse, they're still doing good. And I'm doing everything I can to help, like some of the things we're doing in the space with water.
Yeah.
It's going to be blow mind.
Water?
Yes.
Just water. Water is important.
With water.
I usually pray holding my water.
Yeah.
Like I'll pray. You're doing that already. So because I was like, well, if you can talk to water and it's negative, it becomes like gnarly looking. If you pray, you crystallize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every morning I pray in the pool. And that's why I pray. And when I pray in the pool, that all my prayers are answered. And that's why all the things are happening in my life.
Now, do you have sea salt water? Or,
I do.
Oh, you
I
do?
Salt
No
water.
chlorine?
I have saltwater pools. Yeah.
That's so dope. That's so good. I'm going to have to teach me how to swim.
Come, we swim every morning at 7.
Who's the rudest super diva, super divo that you've ever had to like deal with?
Who do you think?
Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't like you, Jim.
No, I
Move the
can't.
camera.
It's like I haven't really had a bad experience because I think I do a good job and I get people to touch.
Yeah, you're cool.
I get to be cool and I get to give people what I get back. So whatever I'm giving to that person, they're going to give it back. Right. It's the publicists around the famous movie stars that are not nice. It's the publicists or their watchdogs, and it's not even the celebrity that's being mean. These publicists come on the set and they ruin the set. They ruin the shoot. They ruin it all. And I'm like, how did this woman, she's nobody. She's like an intern that just became the publicist, or the publicist is sending the intern to the shoot, to police and watchdog.
Right.
So she's like, she's not wearing that. And they don't even ask the celebrity. The actress isn't even being asked if she would wear this. The intern's like, no, I don't like, no. And we're like, what are you talking? Don't get me going right now, but that's the worst thing in my job.
Is that your pet peeve?
That's my pet peeve.
Okay.
Or people be counterfeiting their way into our business. And you're like, how did you even get here?
What about the most iconic person?
I want to shoot Barbara Streisand.
No, she's great. She's a legend.
Yeah.
Legend.
The biggest legend ever.
Legend.
And I shot James Brolin, her husband, and we had the most dynamic time together.
There you go. I think it's going to happen. Barbara, got to do it.
Yeah, Barbara, come on.
Barbara,
let's
we're pitching.
Go.
Jim Jordan has shot everybody. We got to make this happen.
I want to shoot Cher.
Cher. Oh, another legend.
Legend.
Another legend. She's so beautiful.
And I know I'm going to get along really good, and I know it's amazing. I already see it. It's already done.
It's done. It's done, and you heard it at the podcast first that it's going to happen.
So, I want to shoot you.
Me?
Max Decker.
You want to shoot me with a gun, or what do you want to shoot me with? A Nikon?
I want to shoot, also the Prince of Dubai. His name is, he's the Crown Prince, Hamdan. So that was someone I've always wanted to shoot, and I think that's happening next month. So we're going to go to Dubai and shoot the Crown Prince. And I'm going to bring this technology and this healing technology to the UAE and get them to implement this technology in their country, because the U.S. will not have it. We can't even talk about it. And they're cutting edge technology, and we're going to bring the technology to Hamdan. He has hospitals in Dubai for autism. And this is like, when you meet Dr. Kyle, you'll see what happened.
Favorite country?
I love islands, blue water, big white sandy beaches. I love the Bahamas. I love Maldives. My favorite city, there's so many. Paris, for sure. The beauty of Paris. There's nothing that comes close.
Paris, just the energy.
Remember back when, I don't know how long ago this was, with the Balenciaga stuff, and then like we got the Diddy and the Kanye West and all that, like they're being canceled, and then people would never touch them. What are your thoughts on that? Would you work with them and then risk being canceled yourself, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I believe that people that are canceled need a second chance. I think we all do. I think Jeremy Meeks, because of the mistakes he had made, that we throw people away and toss the key.
Yeah.
Like, I believe that people can change, and people, I think, want to learn from their mistakes. And I absolutely believe in second chances and redemption and people wanting to be better.
Yeah, there was a time. I feel you, because there was a time I was going through a separation, and in that separation, people are picking whose side. You know, like when you go through a separation, it gets so weird because people are like, "Oh, pick a side."
Yeah.
And they have to villainize a person. And I know you stood by me, and I just you're my best friend.
I love people. I want everybody. Like in my life, I could have went one way so gnarly. Like, people believed in me. My life isn't perfect. I've made some shortcomings and trouble, and I believe in absolutely giving people a second chance and knowing people do change and will change. And some people will never change, but you know what? It's being open-hearted and seeing people the way you want to see them, not the way that you used to see them.
What about brands? Who's your favorite brand to shoot with?
There's so many.
Yeah.
So many beautiful brands. And I'm excited what's around the corner. There's so much great stuff. Things I'm doing with my brands, my clothing brands, my cosmetic brand, my skincare brand called White Cross Beauty. I'm doing a lot of different stuff. I'm working in a lot of spaces. In the alcohol space, we're creating a mezcal brand. We're creating a brand for LVMH. I'm doing a lot of things in a lot of different areas, in wellness and gaming, like I said, and healing, and trying to make this a beautiful, better place for everybody. That we could all hold hands and see this beautiful place together.
Does Jim Jordan have hobbies? Does JJ have any hobbies? What does he do for a hobby? You know?
I take pictures.
Wow.
I cut hair. I do.
Back to basics.
I dress people up.
Yeah.
I cut trees. I love to swim. I love to surf. I love just to meditate. I love being with you. I love going places and meeting people. I'm a connector. That's my hobby, is connecting people, because I love to connect people. I love building bridges. I love helping people. I love putting people on magazine covers. I have a lot of really amazing connections that I'm able to do that kind of thing for people.
Yeah.
I'm doing a big project right now with Michael Jackson, with the art with a man named Sir Brett. He's Michael Jackson's partner. He's a famous sculptor, painter. And Michael Jackson was a famous painter that nobody really knows about.
Wow.
So I have a collection of 120 pieces of Michael Jackson art. It's valued at over $1 billion. Wow. And so I'm doing a lot of stuff with that collection, and I'm doing a big project with buying jet fuel, and I'm doing projects buying gold for the royal families in Saudi, and I'm doing a lot of different things, and the world is crazily opening up in the most unique, unbelievable ways that I'm like in awe every day I wake up.
Can we offer people that are watching the pod to send selfies to us to get to you?
Yeah, of course.
If we can like get some change a person's life.
Of course.
Send them the right.
Welcome that for sure.
Okay, guys. So go ahead and just, you heard Jim. He'll check out the selfies we send to him. If you send us your selfies, if you want to be either, a model or a photographer, we'd like to see some of your photos. That'd be great. But if you can send it to thegrayarea@goehq.com. That's thegrayarea@goehq.com. So we'd be really excited to have that come. Is there anything else you want to promote before we kind of take off? No, that's...
If people want to follow me on my Instagram.
Okay, what is it? Yeah.
My Instagram is @JimJordan, JORDAN, photography. And my website is Jim Jordan Photography, www.jimjordanphotography. That's it. And if you guys want to be models, you want to acting, you want my team and myself to see you, help you, and whatever, put a world around you, we're open, and that's what we do. Our management website is www.whitecrossmanagement.com.
I love it. Jim has made more millionaires than I know. I gotta say, you have.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, not to just say that, but I mean, just very successful. I mean, there is a certain level of success that comes with you being a person's representation.
Thank you.
Guys, remember, please like and subscribe, but you have to like and subscribe in order to send in, the selfies. You got to be a follower, or else, come on, I'm not going to hook you up. Also, for me, if you have any questions for me too, as a coach, as an actor, whatever you'd like to know, just go ahead, subscribe, follow, but also send us any comments or questions you might have. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for checking us out. And thank you, Jim, for coming on again.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, my man. Oh my God. Good to see you.